Hello, this is part 2 of the comparative Bible study on the genealogy of Jesus. This is about where we left off at the end of part 1. During this Bible study, I would like to share a little information about some of the individuals in the genealogy. The genealogy begins with Adam, who was the first human on earth. Later we have Methuselah. Methuselah is the oldest recorded living person in the Bible at 969 years old. Later we have Noah, who was instructed by God and built an ark, and he and his family were saved from the worldwide flood. Another notable name in the genealogy is Heber. If you look in Strong's Concordance, the word Hebrews is derived from Heber. Hebrews are the descendants of Heber. In the Old Testament, Heber is often translated as Eber. Heber had a son named Phalec. Phalec in the Old Testament is often translated as Peleg. In Genesis and First Chronicles we're told, "In his days was the earth divided." Another notable name in this section of the genealogy is Enoch. In the Old Testament we're told that Enoch walked with God and he was not, for God took him. In the New Testament in Hebrews it records, Enoch was translated that he should not see death and was not found because God had translated him. There's another New Testament reference of Enoch in Jude. There it's also mentioned that he is the seventh from Adam. It appears that when the Bible numbers things like this, it could be including the first name in with the others. For example, Adam 1, Seth 2, on from there Enos 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, backing up to our overview slide. This is the side-by-side comparison of both genealogies. We just finished talking about this section here in the red dashed lines, which is covered by the genealogy in Luke, but not in Matthew. Now I'd like to talk about the part that's covered in both genealogies, which is the same, which is from Abraham to David. Okay, I've laid the names out like this so that it would be a little bit easier to do a comparison. In Matthew, it's recorded Abraham begat Isaac. Similarly, in Luke, but in a slightly different style, it states Isaac, which was the son of Abraham. Next, in Matthew, it states, and Isaac begat Jacob. And then in Luke, Jacob, which was the son of Isaac. And if we go name by name all the way through, we can see that this pattern continues and that all the names are accounted for and match. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are talked about in the book of Genesis and are referenced throughout the Bible. They are the beginning of the nation of Israel. In fact, Jacob's name was changed to Israel in the book of Genesis. Moving on with our comparison, in Matthew it states, and Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. Similarly, in Luke it states, Judah, which was the son of Jacob. Judah and Judas are two variations of the same name. Moving along, in Matthew it states, and Judas begat Phares and Zerah of Thamar. Similarly, in Luke it states, Phares, which was the son of Judah. You notice that there's some additional information in the book of Matthew. First, you have this part about the brethren of Judas or Judah. Jacob or Israel had 12 sons, and these 12 sons are the heads of the 12 tribes of Israel. Judah was the fourth son. Judah's oldest brother Reuben had an affair with one of Jacob's concubine wives, and his two other older brothers, Simeon and Levi, tricked and killed men. Thamar, noted here, is actually Judah's daughter-in-law. She had been married to two of his sons who had died. It was expected that he would give her another son to marry, but when she recognized that he was not doing that, she disguised herself as a prostitute and became pregnant by Judah and had Phares and Zerah. Jacob had another son, Joseph, who was given a coat of many collars, sold into Egypt for slavery, but then became a ruler and saved his whole family by bringing them to Egypt. In 1 Chronicles it's noted, "For Judah prevailed above his brethren, and of him came the chief ruler, but the birthright was Joseph's. At the end of Jacob's life he blessed Judah, saying, The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be." This sounds like messianic language, or language that would indicate where the Messiah would come from. Moving along with our comparison, in Matthew it states, "And Phares begat Eshrom, and Eshrom begat Aram, and Aram begat Amminadab, and Amminadab begat Naasson, and Naasson begat Salmon." Similarly, in the reverse style that's used in Luke, it states, "Salmon, which was the son of Naasson, which was the son of Amminadab, which was the son of Aram, which was the son of Eshrom, which was the son of Phares." Add a few details to these individuals. Eshrom is normally translated as Hezron in the Old Testament. We're told in Genesis 46 that Hezron, Phares, Judas or Judah accompanied Jacob or Israel with other descendants of Jacob into the land of Egypt. Unless otherwise noted, most everything that we've talked about so far has been in the book of Genesis. The children of Israel were in exile in Egypt for over 400 years, and then they came out with Moses in the book of Exodus. Amminadab is mentioned in the book of Exodus as having been the father-in-law of Aaron the high priest. Also in the book of Numbers, Naasson, the son of Amminadab, was made captain over the children of Judah. In Numbers, it's noted that there were 74,600 men over 20 years old in the tribe of Judah at that time, or at least at the beginning of the book of Numbers. Moving along with our comparison, in Matthew it states, "And Salmon begat Boaz of Rachab, and Boaz begat Obed of Ruth, and Obed begat Jesse, and Jesse begat David the king." Similarly, in Luke, we have David, which was the son of Jesse, which was the son of Obed, which was the son of Boaz, which was the son of Salmon. Okay, now we're moving from the exile in Egypt and wilderness into the promised land, although we don't know for sure. This Rachab here could be Rahab the harlot who was saved by faith. Also, this Boaz here is translated as Boaz in the Old Testament. Boaz and his meeting of Ruth and the birth of Obed are discussed in the book of Ruth, which is a really good story. And of course, we have David, the king, who is David who slew Goliath. Lord willing, I hope to talk more about this next time, but both David's sons, Solomon and Nathan, talked about in the two different genealogies, are sons of Bathsheba, who David had an affair with and later had her husband killed. So there's been a lot of notable names in the genealogy, but there's also been adultery, prostitution, and murder. Maybe God did it this way to show us that it doesn't matter where we come from, He can still use us. Thank you, and goodbye.